Welcome to Rumbo Minero, Cesar. How are you feeling today?
Hey, Jorge.
My name is Jorge Leon, and together with Cesar Campos, we are working on developing this program that you are currently using. Behold, our studios are honored by the presence of Pataz's mayor. We have Congresswoman Patricia Juarez, who is also a member of the Energy and Mines Commission of the Congress. We are going to talk about what is always going on inside, what the atmosphere is like inside that commission, which we have seen that unfortunately. Regrettably, the MAPE legislation is being archived while the REINFO process is being prolonged. And on the other hand, the mayor of Pataz has to talk about everything that is happening. Unfortunately, a bit more technical with us, Cesar.
Right.
All right, I apologize for the delay. Let's move forward and begin the interviews promptly. We will begin by discussing the report we put together with the Rumbo Minero team.
Pataz province, located in La Libertad, is our next destination. Illegal mining has taken control in the region, surpassing formal mining concessions to extract gold and sell it through informal channels. The area is now dominated by illicit mining activities. Despite having been in a state of emergency for several months, these criminal acts continue to seriously affect the Patacan population and business owners. Opposing this decision, Aldo Carlos Mariños, the mayor of Pataz, strongly objected and declared that the emergency response in his area had been ineffective and unsuccessful. The most recent incident linked to the mining sector happened on December 31, 2025 in the Bijos Annex Pataz district. 3 individuals tragically perished in the aftermath of a violent dispute at the Papagayo mine. According to official sources, the victims had entered the mining area illegally with the intention of extracting gold-bearing material. In response to these events, the municipal authority proposes that the army, together with the peasant patrols, confront criminality without the participation of the national police, in order to recover tranquility in his city.
The report put together by Rumbo Minero's media team never fails to captivate. Just as planned, it always proves to be intriguing and enlightening. We are now connected via Zoom with the mayor of the town of Pataz in the La Libertad region, Mr. Aldo Carlos Mariños, who has joined us on the call from Rumbo Minero. We are pleased to have you on our program, Mr. Mayor. Your presence is much appreciated.
Good morning, and thank you very much for the invitation to the program Rumbo Minero.
Mr. Mayor, it is this week that we have learned that the Unified Command of Pataz information has been provided to us via the media outlets, has disarticulated an illegal mining gang with an armed mining gang. It is noted, according to this week's publication of the newspaper El Comercio, 14 alleged members of a criminal organization called Centurion have been arrested. Called Centurion. But let's analyze the general progress of what the declaration of emergency has been, or what it has meant, and if the executive and that unified command truly have, from your point of view, has achieved its objectives.
Probably this, rather than answering in the capacity of as the mayor or as the head of the provincial municipality of Pataz. I put myself in the shoes of the citizens of Patacina, and what they feel is this: a total failure of what this Pataz joint, Pataz command in our province, with no results. And proof of that is that the rise in criminal activities, it was 70% in Pataz province. And to do this precise, this criminality takes place within the concessions of the large mining company, where the people organized to try to fight against this scourge, isn't it? Therefore, the sentiment among the populace... Well,
Mr. Mayor, what do you believe has caused this situation to occur? We still need to complete a major articulation of this unified command, for example, with you, the authorities, the regional authorities, other levels of subnational governments.
What is missing? I believe that it is that the government arrives to the scene, evaluate the problem, right? And based on that, start looking for alternative solutions, right? I think so. That in the place we do not have with a dedicated intelligence service, or if there were, I could say that it is being corrupted, then we automatically need counterintelligence to see that the institutions that are in place are not colluding or corrupting.
Now, obviously, Mr. Mayor, all over Peru, the situation is apparent. Effectively, what we see is that there is not just 1 or 2 or 10 criminal organizations, but these have spread. They also have a transnational ingredient, penetration of criminal agents from abroad. So, from your point of view, how exactly should the struggle and the intelligence efforts that you are proposing be concentrated?
As I say, we are clear on the origin that it was born on the coast, be it Trujillo, born in Lima, right, in the big cities of Peru, and abroad, that due to the fluidity of the economy that occurs in the Pataz district, either due to the activity of the large mining company or due to the activity of artisanal mining or the illegal one, there is a great deal of economic fluidity, and that ultimately ends up attracting to the gangs that they end up affecting, I believe, everyone, absolutely everyone. And I repeat once more, this situation arises due to a matter of he must obtain understanding and acquire knowledge that the government shouldn't just function as a regulator, right? Let's see this. Let's see who passes, and we start to capture those who are going to pass by there, and what criminal gang would go through a checkpoint knowing they are being watched. They are going to ask for the documents that they identify themselves, right? So I think that we need someone who joins the population and starts to dismantle all these organizations that exist, right?
And effectively, in this cycle that you are describing with quite a bit of precision, how do you see the executive's role in front of the issue of the REINFO extension, the exclusion that was made in the previous administration of Dina Boluarte concerning certain mining operators who were skirting the edge of illegality? There are more than 1,400 at least in the area. And what is approaching now in this specific electoral time, where there is uncertainty about whether REINFO will become a banner that is extended for even more time than it has already been?
It's a humiliation for the artisans of the Pataz district that they do not take it seriously. We need to differentiate two aspects of this issue. The artisan who should be helped by the state to formalize his or her business. And it is necessary to separate it to one side. The illegals, right? Go hard on the illegals. For that we need a Ministry of Energy and Mines that reaches with the necessary budget and with the necessary human resources. We need the Ministry of the Interior to be there. We need the prosecutor's office to be there. We need the judiciary, so that everyone has the necessary budgets, right? That they can do this to confront and give refall case. Otherwise, this is not going to happen here any more than last year they approved about 50 million souls, right? I understand that this year it will double and will not change the figures if we're not honest. And that is what the people of Patacina also feel, which the state is falling to what the big miner wants, right? That in the end, do you find yourself conjoining all artisanal miners together in the end and ended up disappearing from them with the cliche that they're illegal, right? So that's true. That would be regrettable. Why? Because this particular mining activity did not originate 46 years ago, as like how the big mining company 46, 47 years ago, the big mining company settled. But this comes from about 500 or 600 years in the past. The Pataz district has consistently been a mining area. 85% of the territory of the Pataz district, he has the concession for all of it, the big mining company. So, and of that 85%, the large mining company only Large mining uses 5%. I ask myself, why doesn't the state say to the large mining company, hey, you are working like the dog in the manger? You don't eat and you don't let the other one eat, right? So it must give him a certain number of years. And during those years, he doesn't exploit him. Huh? The artisanal miners need to be formally recognized over there because it is known by all the people of Patak and the La Libertad region. The activity that keeps the economy flowing is artisanal mining because that's what stays. That's what stays in the restaurants, in transportation, in the hotels.
Okay.
Right? Whereas the large mining company, while it is true that it contributes, well, but their profits, they do not remain here within the Pataz province. They venture outside of the province, beyond the region, and even the nation.
Mr. Mayor, you have been very gracious and very kind in answering our questions, and we commit you to please continue, and we commit you please to continue our dialogue throughout this year, and as the electoral process deepens, to see how we approach the electoral process, to see how we can focus and implement solutions such as the ones you have raised. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
We were joined by the Mayor of Pataz, Aldo Carlos Mariños, speaking via Zoom about mining direction. We'll take a break and be right back.
Currently, we are broadcasting from our America Mining block at our studios, which is a departure from our usual location on Wall Street, New York. But currently in our studios interviewing José Gonzáles. José, how are you? Greetings and a warm welcome to you. We inquired about your well-being, and it's delightful to see you once more. The prices of the most important minerals, copper, gold, silver, it is increasing in a manner that is absolutely brutal. And so, what is it that you foresee for the year 2026 concerning the prices of minerals? Because they never seem to stop increasing.
Last year was an extraordinary year, and this year promises to repeat itself. To be repeated. Ernst & Young releases a report at the beginning of the year detailing the top 10 pros and cons of mining, including benefits, commitments, and challenges. And they interview a number of mining companies who do this compendium, and they just published it a few weeks ago. And they say that in this year, 26 mining companies are going to shift from strategic risks to operational risks and prioritize profitability. Do not focus on maximizing shareholder profits, rather prioritize reinvestment for business growth. The promise is going to create a series of bottlenecks in mining where you have to reinvest into the future. What are the problems and promises of 2026? Operational complexity. The complexities of mining are on the rise due to depleting resources, escalating mining costs, and the need for increased productivity. In order to remain successful, mines must strive to enhance productivity levels. Capital. There is new investment capital in mining, but with new perspectives, it is not the traditional capital. Depletion of resources and reserves. It is beginning to be, and prices reflect precisely that. Licenses to operate. The state, and it has been happening in Africa, realizing that the mining resource generates returns. And benefits the nation. The mining map becomes more complex, and one must know how to deal with that complexity. It is expected that the mining industry will see a transition from national to regional and local levels in terms of workforce dynamics. There is no labor supply in mining.
Specifically regarding copper, Jose, what is the expectation, especially since it is a flagship Peruvian resource as a mineral?
And what's really fascinating about these projections for the price of copper, Cesar, is that we expected the price of copper to be between $12,000 and $15,000 a ton this year. It is already at $13,000 a ton. Copper returns to levels of 6% a pound. And nothing indicates that it is going to back down. There is a very high expectation from the operators and mineral traders that the shortage is going to be evident. S&P just published a report on copper and says the copper deficit could reach levels of 40% between supply and demand. Demand is expected to grow 50% and supply because of what Ernst & Young points out, and all the problems related to contemporary mining will not meet that supply. In the future, business restructuring will play a crucial role for organizations moving ahead.
Well, thank you very much to José Gonzáles, as always, preparing the magazine as the international editor of our magazine, Rumbo Minero. And mentioning it, speaking precisely about Rumbo Minero magazine. You can not only access it physically, but also virtually by entering www.rumbo.minero. Entering triple fee double miners route, and you can enter and download the entire magazine for free with all the topics every 45 days. New edition on our website, www.rumbominero.com. Commercial break, back soon. We are pleased to welcome Congresswoman Patricia Juarez to Rumbo Minero. Sumama say she is not only a member of the Energy and Mining Commission, but also an important addition to our team. Thank you for joining us, Congresswoman.
How are you? Good morning. Thank you.
Congressman, I would like you to tell us a little bit. You are in this important commission. We hope you can come visit us frequently to gain a better insight into the operations of the mining industry. Your visits will greatly aid in our understanding. From the political side, we will discuss Petroperu and REINFO, both of which, like many others, you have also experienced difficulties with. But getting a little into Petroperu, we have these ongoing discussions both in person and online through social media, where there are many engaged individuals showing interest. They don't like what the minister is doing. On the other hand, specialists. It's very difficult because there are a lot of specialists who have come onto the program who have diverse opinions. What is your opinion on what the Minister of Economy and Finance is proposing?
It is obviously a complex issue. I believe that as a nation, we are no longer in a position to continue funding a company that quite obviously is inefficient. And what it is generating, of course, is only that the executive, the government, that the executive branch, the government, the nation as a whole must be resolving these issues and managing to keep things afloat. This cannot be prolonged in time. There has to be a decision, and I believe that for more than a year now. One of the board of directors at Petroperu put forward an exit strategy that the incumbent president Boluarte ultimately chose not to take. And now, let's see here. The interim government that was formed to transition, typically, the defining feature of these administrations is that they only address matters concerning the transfer of offices to the individual who has been chosen.
Superficial, no?
Exactly. He has taken this decision, and I think it is a brave but necessary decision. So what I believe is that powerful unions exist in Petroperu, but neither the state as a whole nor all Peruvians can continue funding these little luxuries that have been given out over the course of for so many years. But also, addressing the inefficiency within a company is crucial. Ultimately, Pro Inversión will have the ultimate authority to make decisions. Is what was appropriate in the government plan that Fuerza Popular has already presented? We are going in almost the same direction. We think we must keep the strategy, but stop just solving issues as they appear. To such a complicated company like Petroperu, truly.
Do you believe, pardon me, Cesar, that this decision, just as you mentioned, transitional governments are not ones to make such weighty decisions? And we have so many years in this subject. Do you think that this decision is helping the next president of the Republic in one of the issues that had to be dealt with? Were those some hot potatoes he is currently assisting?
Of course it is, of course. It is not only helping the next government, but it is also helping the country in general. Well, this is this absolute squandering of resources, and then everyone, when a rescue package is enacted, when it is provided, certain sums of money are transferred over, and they disguise these transactions as legitimate loans, but ultimately what you have is an inefficient business operation. We regret that this is the case because at the time of the privatizations in the 90s, this company was kept as well as PAL. This company as well as Sedapal, because obviously they were the ones stabilizing prices and managing things at that time. And all of the fuel supply to the most distant zones within Peru, and now it is not, has a percentage in those markets, but it's not a priority, right? Therefore, I believe that it has already served the purpose for which it was maintained as a state-owned enterprise, but I feel it is now necessary to transition to another situation.
Furthermore, Congressman, we continue to look at the most volatile area on the country's map, especially due to illegal mining operations. Multiple offensive activities perpetrated by organized criminal groups, both in the national part and the transnational part. Despite our best efforts, there is still a unified command present in Pataz. We recently conducted an interview. The mayor condemned the state's insufficient reaction, Comparing it to the extortion incidents in Lima, he emphasized the absence of any substantial measures taken to address the situation. Right? Because it says resources are needed for the police to equip them, with more tools above all to strengthen intelligence. What is your outlook on this situation? That from now on, since it was necessary to extend the REINFO for 6 months, which is not healthy for the police either, which is certainly not at all healthy for the formal economy that comes from the formal practice of mining. What do you think? How should this fight against illegal mining be approached?
Well, in principle, to recognize that we are a state that has failed in this task, the formalization process has been going on for many years without positive results. By 2025, just 20 cases are formalized, meaning 20 re-infractions. We don't think this situation can be prolonged over time either. We can no longer continue in Congress under the criterion, the concept, which is, let's say, a group of Peruvians who are working under this record and that we could leave them in an illegal status. Is that argument that many of the cases that affect us as a popular force, the previous time was the last time, and the last time we voted in favor of the extensions. In reality, it cannot be prolonged any longer in time. The last time was the final time, and then what happened was there was, let's say, a certain boycott in the Energy and Mines Commission, which finally shelved the ASM law presented by the executive with Minister Mucho.
On that note, Congressman, we witnessed members in Congress meeting residents clearly funded or at least with connections to illegal mining. On one hand, strengthening the reinforcement. At least there is an amount that is in the process of that is the REINFO. We are not happy with that because in the end it is not well fulfilled. But well, those are the ones that are in the process of, and there are those that are not, and they have a lot of congressmen. You should see it, right?
Yes.
There are a lot of congressmen, but the worst is in the commission where you belong with Diana Gonzalez, it seems to me, right? It must also be a bit frustrating to see a number of Congress members who are clearly in favor of illegal mining. And how do you make good decisions from there? How do you get out of there? I mean, how could Congress be managed? What would your alternative be? Because every time it returns to having a new Congress promptly means having the chair of the Energy Committee in Mines knowledgeable about mining. Currently, the appointed individual lacks this crucial expertise or has anything to do with illegal mining.
Yes, well, in reality, it's a struggle in many cases. It's frustrating. I have just recently entered the Energy and Mines Commission during this last semester, so to speak. And obviously, I have had to see, live in person right here and now. Well, in many cases, the interest that some Congress members have, and of course I have stated it because there is something that what I am is being very direct. Therefore, in numerous instances, when they bring forward their suggestions, such as submitting their request to prolong the restoration for 4 years, they aim to achieve extension. That all of these exclusions be completely and totally eliminated. So, on some occasions, I have told the Congress members, please at least try to be a little more subtle about it, haven't I? Furthermore, it had been mentioned previously that this was an extremely complicated topic. The accusation that someone had some involvement, a certain proximity to illegal mining activities. No, that's not the case now. It's quite normal, right? And so I believe that this has progressed throughout the passage of time, and it has been up to us to mediate a little regarding the proposals they presented and what finally got approved in the plenary, right? I think some interesting topics have been approved, such as the mining census that some people don't like, but which in the MAPE law that was presented, the former minister Romulo Mucho was part of this, because we believe that if we want to address this problem as a long-term public policy, we have to have a baseline. At least we have to know how many people work in what places and what activities they do. Well, that has been approved. The labor inspection has also been approved. The consideration of implementing a tax system for these individuals who are obligated to pay taxes to the government has been officially sanctioned as we are experiencing a loss. Too much money is being lost. And, this traceability that we as the Popular Force Party have put forward in another piece of legislation and also in this current one. So honestly, we truly believe that there have been some progress has been made, but the big challenge is the MAPI law, which should be approved by July.
Thank you very much to Congresswoman Patricia Juarez. Well, next we go with Iván Arenas to the BOC, to the Mining and Society block. Let's go ahead.
The Cajamarca and Moquegua are two absolutely different cases, absolutely different. While Cajamarca expelled mining investment, in Moquegua it was done absolutely different. What Moquegua did was to welcome mining investments, and today we can see that they are two different cases. For example, in the case of daily wages, the per capita average is it's around $7 in Cajamarca and $20 to $21 in Moquegua. What does this mean? That evidently that the prosperity is on the Moquegua side, and what we see now is on the Cajamarca side. Of the 20 poorest districts in Peru, 10 districts are located in Cajamarca. According to all the social, economic, labor, and productivity indicators, it is evident that Cajamarca is facing a significant deficit. While that happens, Cajamarca presents an excellent investment opportunity. There are approximately $16 billion tied up in projects that are currently at a standstill. What else happened in Cajamarca? In areas where traditional mining practices have been rejected in favor of newer, more formal methods, this decision was influenced by tales, accounts, activism, and demonstrations. NGOs and self-interested politicians. How illegal and informal mining are flourishing. The case of Sorochuco, the case of San Ignacio. In Cajamarca, there's a significant rise in informal and illegal mining activities, essentially leading to a mining boom. And curiously, those who attacked, those who expelled, those who mobilized against the development of formal and modern mining projects that generate employment, generate positive externalities, say absolutely nothing about what is happening. Remember, friends, Cajamarca is a paradigmatic case in the country. It could easily be a modern region, however we have what we have today. We will continue talking next week. Thank you very much.
Therefore, we will be concluding the program at this moment, Cesar. We extend our gratitude to everyone for joining us. I concur with the sentiments expressed by Congresswoman Patricia Juarez. Important and clear, the concern we have here that the Energy and Mines Committee in Congress is simply handed out at the end, and sometimes even by people linked to illegal mining.
And the mayor of Pataz, who has also given his view on their demands. Hopefully we can follow up on this in future programs.
That's right. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Don't forget, take your stand at Expo Mina. More than 1,240 stands have already sold at 85%. We are looking forward to seeing you at www.expominaperu.com. We will meet again next weekend right here on this same broadcast signal.